I don't wish anyone ill will.
Right.
What I do want is for them to stop blindly following Donald Trump no matter what he does. Like, he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
All of us Americans have more in common with each other than we know. We can find common ground. Really, the enemy is not each other.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Navigating. Here at Navigating, we explore how people from all walks of life are finding their way through today's complex and changing world. As we continue to be shaken by increasingly stressful political events, it's helpful for our mental and physical health to look for the humor in what we're witnessing. My guest in this episode is Maggie Reed, known online as Mermaid Maggie. She's a gifted writer, comedian, character actor who has gained enormous popularity recently because of her incredible ability to shine a bright and often hilarious light on some very dark developments. Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
I'm just so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I tell you, watching your videos, and you're so incredibly prolific for people who don't know. I don't know how many you make per day. It seems like just a stream. I'm like, and I check the time. When did she make this? 2 hours ago. Well, when did she have time for that?
It's exhausting. Politics is exhausting.
Well, that's it. You're keeping up with it. And that's yes. One of the things I really want to say is that there are humorists and comedians who wait until things have sort of gelled and they get kind of an idea and they put things together and then they do a little skit. You're watching the news like 24/7. And the minute something happens, you're out there doing a spoof.
Well, the thing is, if you even wait for, a beat for something, a new story comes around.
That's just it.
I mean, especially in this new era with Trump, how everything is kind of being blitzed at us.
Yeah.
We are getting a constant bombardment of, people make the joke, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. But it really is breaking news.
It is breaking news.
All the time.
It is.
And it feels overwhelming, but you got to keep up with it. But at least humor makes keeping up with it feel a little less grim, I guess.
Well, you gained, so when this administration first started, how many followers did you have and what has happened since then?
Well, okay. So I've been doing this since Trump's first term.
Oh.
So this isn't, new for me. I've been doing this for over 4 years now. And, I've started out, even back in Trump days, I had about maybe 80,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely, over time, it just grew and grew and grew. Now, we are where we are now. And it's been a journey to follow him and follow this administration in this new term, because things are very different this time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you have to work harder and faster, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to keep up with. And there's things that, that are not funny. Obviously.
Right.
We are in an era where there are actually really scary things happening. So not everything can be, humorized, but, I pick and choose what I can and kind of give the people some levity during this time on certain things that I can make fun of, or that I can, shine an absurd light on, because every day does seem like some kind of absurdity at this point.
It really does. Let's roll back in time to little Maggie. Where did she come from, and did she study in drama? Do you have a degree in drama?
Okay, so little Maggie, born in Bay Area, California. I was a theater girl growing up, always doing musical theater, singing.
Were you the class clown too? Class cut up?
Kind of not. I was the good girl.
Oh,
I was
you were?
I was, but I was also always funny, always cracking jokes. My dad's a really funny guy, and so we would, even when I was younger, we used to go to the Cow Palace to like the boat shows, and we would pretend that we were like some really rich family, and I would go, "Daddy, I want this one." He'd be like, "Anything for you, muffin." And like we would, just do lots of like role playing and things like that. It was really funny back in the day. Or we'd go to like car dealerships and
so that
do
really
things
started
like that.
very young. The role playing.
Yes, absolutely.
Playing
I was in lots
characters.
of shows, and then I went to UC Irvine for my degree in theater.
Uh-huh.
So I did that for my undergraduate.
Uh-huh.
Then I worked in, some theater after college, and then I pivoted for many years. I went and got my master's in speech and language pathology and communicative disorders. And so I was a speech therapist, working speech therapist for about 10 plus years.
That's really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So, and has that affected the way you yourself present yourself, you think? I mean, are you more aware? You were already aware of your speech and...
Yes. Well, but also, because I do politics,
Mhm.
it's more than, being in that field. It's a field of compassion. It's a field of working with people.
Right.
And, truly, I think I learned from that to just be a helper, be a giver.
Yeah.
And, only when I had my own children
Mhm.
and I took a step back from speech therapy because I was trying to go full time with my 2 kids, and it was really hard.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
COVID hit, and
Yeah.
it was a perfect time to just kind of pivot and start doing something different.
And go back
And that's
to
what I did.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, I'm
yeah.
looking at the dovetailing too with what you learned as an actor and then what you learned about compassion and giving and how those have merged together with what you're doing now.
Absolutely.
With
Yeah.
when we talked on the phone the other day, you said, I really want to help people. I really want to give to them. I really want them to feel better. And that's what this is about for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all have to do something during this time when, everything feels really heavy.
Yeah.
And, not every day we can go out and protest or, get in the mud or do something. We can offer our money, we can offer our time, we can offer our humor. There's something that we can all offer in this time to help one another. That's my feeling.
Yeah. No, it's true. And you get that kind of feedback from people too.
Oh,
I see online that
absolutely.
people are just like, oh, somebody said, oh, thank God for you or something,
I get that a lot. And honestly, it makes my day.
Yeah.
Because I love making people laugh. And I love it when I get DMs and messages from people saying, you are really helping me get through this time. Because if it's...
Well, that's why you're here with me.
Yes. Well,
because I
but if
discovered you. Was it through Keith? I can't remember if Keith...
Yes. Yeah. We met on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Or
right.
X,
That's right.
X now.
And
Yes.
then I started watching you and I was like, oh, this is a relief. This feels good.
Well, if people are like I said earlier, if people are constantly just feeling the negative effects.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what they want. They want us to be exhausted. They want us to give up. They want us to tune out about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But just making light of things and bringing a little humor to it brings that levity back, makes it not seem as heavy, even though we all know it is.
Yeah.
We can take ourselves out of it for a second and laugh, smile, even in the hard times,
Yeah. Well, it seems like when you're preparing your skits, you've done a deep dive into what the information is as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your process? So I just found out the other day because you posted this that you do all your own writing,
Yeah.
you do all your own everything. So what is that like? Let's say you see a news story and you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Then so what do you do from that?
So I sit down and I kind of start jotting down notes, obviously, rough form, usually writing, or I will use my computer or my phone, whatever's more convenient at the time.
Right.
But and start figuring out ideas. As you know, I also use a lot of clips. One of my kind of forms that I do is my videos is I am the actor in it, but I'm also doing a scene with maybe Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So I have to take clips from his speeches, and I watch a lot of Donald Trump. I watch a lot of politicians, and it's nerve-wracking, and it's a lot. But, I usually will go through and storyboard kind of what my concept is, what I want to convey, what's the end message that I want, and then kind of go through and fill in the blanks, whether it's cutting up video or just writing an entire script. And I kind of run it by a couple times and then go shoot. Fast.
And you pick your character based on who you want to be either interacting with him or who's telling the story.
Yes.
And you have a whole basket full of wigs and
I think the last
how many
count,
wigs do you have now?
It's over 40.
Oh.
Some of
I
them
had
don't
no
really
idea.
get to see the light of day because they're a little too much. Like I've got a couple mullet wigs and things like that. But,
You need good application for them. Yeah.
yeah, I
Right.
don't use a lot of them. But there's a lot.
And you
There's a
started
lot.
collecting these during the first Trump
During
administration?
the first, I just, I've been doing this for a long time. I've got, a wardrobe that I have full of various things. And I have never once bought a MAGA hat. People have sent things to me.
Oh,
So just to let everyone know.
that you wouldn't be wearing that, or
I wouldn't have bought it, no.
You wouldn't
But
have bought
people
it.
have sent me things
Oh yeah, because
for my collection.
You've worn them for your collection.
Yes.
But yeah.
But I mean,
But you didn't pay good money.
no.
for them.
But the only red hat I do have, it says "Made You Look." It doesn't actually say MAGA on it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I actually wore that to the DNC. I was there as a creator for the Democratic National Convention, and everyone kept. I had filmed myself walking down the halls. Everyone's looking, "What? What are you wearing?" Because it was a house full of all Democrats.
This is just
but it was
like,
funny.
Daddy, I want that boat.
Exactly.
It all goes back to
always be prepared with costumes.
Oh my
always.
gosh! So let's talk about the DNC. Did they invite you to come as a
They
creator?
did, yes, and it was so much fun.
Really exciting.
It was. Well, we had a lot more hope then. We were feeling a different vibe politically.
Yeah.
We all were rooting for Harris to win.
Yeah.
And the energy was electric there. And
I could feel it even through the television screen.
It was like magical. And,
everyone
I think that's what made the loss feel even more devastating because we had all just come off of that high of being so excited and, really hoping that we were going to have our first female president.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding. Well, not here.
What were your experiences like there? What kinds of stuff did you do as a creator?
I went around, interviewed people. I got some interviews with Michael Cohen. I was just interviewing random people there. I did some characters. I did some trolling of some of the right-wing media that was there in the media station.
That's before I knew about you. I'll have to scroll back.
It was
they're
fun.
on,
It was
they're
really
on
fun.
Instagram, right?
Yeah, I met Gavin Newsom.
Oh, you did?
So yeah, that was really great.
He's really showing up now.
He is.
Isn't he?
Yes. And
and he looks pissed. That's what he's on screen. So I have to just say, when I started this podcast, it was right before, maybe after the election. I knew what the election results were like, but we had no idea what as you said, the bombardment was going to be like. Let's keep them off balance. Let's keep them unbalanced. Let's Project 2025 them, basically using that as a verb. And, at that point I thought, okay, well, we're just going to show both sides of everything. And, we can bring in guests who are, from this persuasion or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's become so intense and so heavy and so scary in so many ways. And we're protecting people who are vulnerable and all of that. And so getting back to what I started to say, Gavin Newsom, I'm like, yeah, go Gavin, and I mean, I've always liked Gavin. I've always liked him, but now it's like, okay, he looks presidential in the way that he's pushing back, in the way that he's yelling, in the way he gets on screen and his face is all twisted and he's like, and he yells into and I'm like, Are
you following his social media account?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoever is in charge of that is brilliant.
Aren't they doing a good job?
The trolling is incredible. We've all been waiting for somebody in the Democratic Party to really step up and be to stand up to Trump
and just to say what it is instead of pussyfooting around.
And Donald Trump still has, the National Guard and in California over 4,000 troops, and it's Gavin Newsom has the right to be pissed. Donald Trump creates a problem and then wants to fix the problem.
Yeah.
It's
and wants to show up as the one who fixed it. And
it's his MO.
Yeah.
But Gavin Newsom's not having it, and he calls him out for every single lie and every, Donald Trump is just trying to make this about him, make California about him. Gavin Newsom's not having any of it.
Well, and speaking of the National Guard, I heard that the National Guard themselves was trying to call the higher ups were trying to call the troops out of California because they need them elsewhere.
Yeah.
They need them for the floods. They need them for the things that are happening around the country that
There's literally no reason for them to be here.
no.
I mean, people have this thought that there's all these, people were peacefully protesting people being kidnapped, essentially.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump again makes the problem, and then they were protesting.
The problem he created.
The National Guard coming in. He creates
something.
the problem. Yes,
and then it becomes a thing. And for the people who watch Fox News or One America, the cameras are focused on one burning car.
Mm.
They're not focused on thousands of people.
They all have the same footage. The guy chipping away at the concrete. 99.9% of all protests in California, peaceful, peaceful, peaceful.
I know. And here's this one little tiny percent, and they're like, zoom in on that.
And it's on loop and it's on repeat. But, again, that's, everything's political these days, but also the misinformation that people put out there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I try to do with my comedy is, shine a light on hypocrisy.
Right.
Because the reality is they're lying all the time.
There's lies.
There's lies everywhere.
Yeah.
And, when I think about my comedy in and of itself is, pointing light on the absurdity and the hypocrisy, but I do it in a way where I'm also kind of lying myself, but it's the truth in lying, I guess, if that makes sense.
What's an example? Show me an example of what you're talking about.
Okay, so, I'll, make up a story to convey the hypocrisy.
Which one have you done recently that you could? Well,
one of my characters is a reporter.
I love her.
So
she's there with the camera.
I do. Donald over here. And so I ask Trump questions that are completely, made up, and his responses are made up, but his responses are more close to the truth than the truth that he actually says.
Yeah.
So, I kind of make up my own version of reality.
Edit in from wherever you get that, the phrase from. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
and then you go, oh, your little reaction.
Yeah.
Your little reaction.
Well, because everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. And so if I can take his words and turn them to be a little bit more truthful in a comedic way, I love doing that. It's like turning him on himself. You know what I mean?
The one that, see, I'm a big baby at heart, and the one with all the farts on the golf course. I couldn't stop laughing, all the fart jokes. And that was, I actually commented.
Farts are funny,
I know, they just are. And I actually commented on your Instagram. I said, you'd think I would be too old to laugh at fart jokes, but apparently not. And I think I had like 75 or more people go, me too, me too.
At the end of the day, if people want to laugh at Donald Trump, people want to laugh at these people that make their life a living hell.
Yeah.
And, it is kind of like us versus them, this team versus that. But, he inflicts so much pain and so much, carnage on this world that when you make fun of him, people love it. Pointing out that his makeup looks like, old spaghetti in a Tupperware or something, it makes people laugh. And, if they can, he does so much harm to so many people that laughing at him just makes them feel better. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Farts or no farts.
It's really important because there's otherwise there's just, and I have a lot of friends who are really, really upset and suffering because of the heaviness, and I'm sending them to you.
Good. Yay.
I'm sending them to your account because it's like, watch Maggie. She'll at least, show how ridiculous this is, or show. And I think, we're all looking for what's our way out of this? What are we going to do to get out of this? How is this going to happen? And I think when we laugh with each other, I think that's one of the doors. That's one of the doorways we can find to get out. And I'm just kind of thinking, right now that when we're burdened by thoughts and feelings, we're not that creative, and we don't find our way out of a problem.
Yes.
But but something that can lighten us, people meditate for that reason, people drink for that reason, not that necessarily they smoke weed, and that one I know doesn't necessarily work either for keeping your mind clear. But I think humor and laughter is really important because
Absolutely.
I'm looking at it in a different way, just in this moment, that heaviness creates like an energetic flow in the body and the mind kind of locks up. I mean, I have friends right now who are so upset that their minds are literally locked up
Yeah.
and they're on a loop. A loop of I don't know what to do. I don't know what are we going to do? I don't know what to do.
It can
And then
feel
when you
so overwhelming
yeah.
for people.
Yeah, and so the levity, if we can bring that in, then maybe the brain relaxes enough that we come up with a solution,
Absolutely.
you
Well,
know.
if we are constantly in fight or flight
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
mean, and we're seizing up and we're
Yeah.
not able to even take a minute to fill our cups
Yeah.
and whatever that may be, because everyone's got a different idea of, like you said, some people do this, do that, whatever fills your cup. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of your mental health in this time, especially when it
Yeah.
feels overwhelming. And
Yeah.
if you're someone that's, feels a lot of empathy and you are feeling immobile by the idea that, there's so much going on and you feel helpless. You feel like you can't
That's
do
the
anything.
word. That's the word is the helplessness.
Yes, a lot
Just
of people feel that way right now.
yeah, that there's so much, so much, so much. Um, in your studies, did you read much of Project 2025?
Yes,
I thought you might have.
absolutely.
Yeah, I did.
We're over halfway fulfilled with that
I
right now.
know. I know.
Unfortunately,
I
we've
know.
we've and this one big beautiful bill also that I say that in quotes, beautiful. It's a very ugly bill. Has a lot of aspects to it as well.
Yeah.
So we're inching even further and further.
Yeah.
But they had the playbook
They had it
set.
written
They had it set and ready. They've been working on it during
for a
Biden's
long
during the
time.
entire time. That was their
Yeah.
plan. And
Yeah.
whether or not it was Trump that was going to win or not, they were going
They
to
were going to
get this
find
enacted.
someone.
Yeah.
They were going to find someone. He's easy for
Yeah.
them to work with, I think, because he's malleable.
Yeah.
They can.
Well, one thing I always say to people is that I do believe that he is also beholden to so many different people.
Yes. Yes.
So we're not just
We're
dealing with,
talking Putin.
Putin, Heritage Foundation,
Right.
Big Oil,
Yeah.
and his base.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so I always say, just remember he's beholden to so many different people that's going to always, it's going to be hard for him to fulfill everybody's kind of wishes. So
Yeah.
that may be a silver lining with us.
Well, it's going to happen with the red states who voted for the big, beautiful bill, big bloated bill. And they're already seeing, FEMA hasn't shown up in Texas, I don't think.
They
yet.
have.
Have they finally?
They have. But, the idea is FEMA's there. Donald Trump, declared it a national disaster. But his plan is to phase out FEMA, get rid of it altogether by the end of this hurricane season. So we may not feel it right now.
Mhm.
And he was even asked about it yesterday and he refused to. He said,
I saw that.
He said, well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it later.
And they asked him about the weather service as well, too,
Yes.
didn't
Well,
they?
he said, do you think you'll maybe hire back some of the meteorologists?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that, there are vacancies in local and federal, for the National Weather Service and NOAA, there's vacancies. And there's about half of the people that were working under the Biden administration, they're gone already.
Yeah.
So they're understaffed and they've cut research, they've cut staffing, and it's incredibly tragic. And he said that he wouldn't hire anyone back. He doesn't see a need to. So a lot of this stuff that is going to be passed in this new bill won't even show up until 2027.
Right.
So
well, and we'll see what happens in 2026 with the midterms too. But getting back to Project 2025, have you ever seen the film Bad Faith?
No.
Oh, I would highly recommend Bad Faith because it starts way back in the 1950s and 60s as the Christian white supremacist movement began building and who was involved and how that happened. And basically it's like all the roots of where we are today.
Yep.
It's really a brilliant film. And I think a lot of people haven't seen it. Yeah.
I always love a good film recommendation.
Yeah, that's good. And if there's anything you can do to promote it too with what you do, because a lot of people I think would learn a lot more. It's history,
Absolutely.
It's like I sat there, I saw it in a theater in Sonoma and with my friend, and we were just completely blown away because I've been an activist for a long time. I'm old, as I told you on the phone, and I was there when Reagan was elected, and going, oh, this feels really different. They're talking about something, this trickle down economics thing, and this, and he closed all of the mental health facilities, and it was the first time that my friends and I saw homeless people. It was the
Yeah.
first time, 1981, we started seeing people out on the street. And we were like, this didn't used to happen, Union Square in San
Yeah.
Francisco, people sleeping. So it's a really worthwhile film.
I'll check it
to
out.
see.
Well, isn't it funny though? They're still trying to say the same old stuff too. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about Reagan, they're still trying to sell us the trickle
Reagan,
down economics.
Trickle down.
Not going to happen. Been
I know.
proven
Well,
it's not going to happen.
The whole theory of at least part of the theory of the big bloated bill is, we'll just make sure everybody up here is okay, and then they'll just hire people. Back in
like it's going to be a total boost for our economy.
I know.
Well, if the research says anything, that is wrong.
It's the opposite.
It's the exact opposite. They hoard wealth more than they spend it. I mean,
it's a really
that's
so many lies that people believe about. And I know there are Republicans in my family, and they believe this, that the Republicans help lower the deficit, for example. And look at what's just happened. As we see now, it's going to be $4 trillion something that this bill is going to add to the deficit.
Well, and that's where the hypocrisy comes in.
Yeah.
And the lies, because point blank, that man's just went out. He even had an event, and he went out and said, "We're not touching Medicare." But they're literally just talking semantics, because we're not cutting Medicare. Well, what they're doing is going through and, putting certain stipulations on it. It essentially kicks people off Medicare. That's what it does.
It does.
They're putting new regulations on things, new requirements.
Right.
That's what it is. It's semantics. It's all bold lies, but they're saying, "Oh no, we're not doing it." Even Mike Johnson, no, we're not touching it. We're not. Yeah. And people are still like, they're not cutting it.
Yeah.
They're confused because of all the lies,
Oh boy, I know. And it's, so I'm going to find myself going, I'm sitting here now.
Listen, if we're not sighing, we're not doing it right here.
Yeah.
Every day, if you're not rolling your eyes or, oh geez, like what the hell? What fresh hell are we living in today?
I know.
That's always one of my ongoing jokes. What fresh hell are we in?
Yeah.
Because it does feel like that. But
so what I do every morning is I wake up and I read some of the people, Robert Reich, Scott Dworkin, Emily from The Smile. And I just try to read, okay, what have they found that will happen that was good? Scott Dworkin is really good that way. And, and I go, oh, look, this happened. And then I capture that and I put it in a little square of whatever color I choose in that moment. And I put it on social media. It's so small that people are like, I can read this whole thing. It's only 3 sentences, and it's like a consolidation of the whole story. But I'm always trying to find, like I say, the doorways. What are the doorways that we can start finding to open? And, we see these protests growing. There's another one coming on the 17th, which is the date marking the passing of John Lewis. Yeah. And it's called Good Trouble Lives On is the name of that particular protest. And I hope it's going to be big. I'm going. Yeah. I got to go find more poster board and make another. It's like you look at your old posters. It's like there was hands off. Then there was no kings.
Oh, I always keep my old posters.
Yeah, I keep them too. But I'm like, oh no, that's old fashioned. I put it away, and it's like okay. So now I got to find one. That's really.
I've been printing off memes and putting them on my posters lately.
Oh, good.
For the No King's Day and the one before that. They make for really good posters.
Do you go as yourself to?
I do. I always go as myself.
I wondered if you go as Maggie.
Well, that's when you met me. You're like, "Is that your real hair?" Yes, and it's actually kind of nice because I do politics. I've got kids. I can kind of be a master of disguise. Yeah. First, master of disguise. Yeah, always wearing a costume. Yeah, but so it makes my life a little bit more. Anonymous for the most part, but I still get recognized wherever I go. I go as myself always.
That's so great.
Well, and I am working also with a couple of organizations as well right now, like the 5150 movement,
Oh, good.
the 3.5%.
So talk about what those are in case the audience doesn't know.
3.15, the 3.5%, you follow them on Instagram. They're just kind of getting people together and keeping us up to date on what we need to know to work against authoritarianism.
And it's
3.5. And what that stands for is that studies have shown that if only 3.5% of the population stands up and consistently, and you have to remember consistent, consistently resists an authoritarian regime, it does not take and they can topple it. So the idea is that we want to be the 3.5%. The average, I think, on the No King's Day protests across the country was 4.7%.
It seemed like it was big,
It was humongous.
Yeah.
Wasn't covered that way. And I think it was probably even bigger than the numbers they gave.
The numbers were really a very wide range. It went from 5 million to 12 million. And I was like, I'll pick something in the middle then.
Well, the consensus is around the board right now, it's 4.7%. And that's huge.
It's enormous.
And so if we can keep that and sustain that, then we got this. They're going to throw everything at the books, everything at us. They're going to try to do things. They're already trying to redistrict for the midterms.
Yeah.
So, maybe they don't lose so many House seats or Senate seats. So there's always tricks to be had.
There's always something being done in the background.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I look at is the more they throw, the more that percentage is going to grow.
Absolutely.
Because there are people now who are realizing that they voted thinking one thing and something else has happened. I mean, I think about this poor guy who was the head of Latinos for Trump, the guy from Cuba who's been deported. It was a good faith thing. I mean, I do know some of these guys personally, and their belief was so strong. There's one guy I know who was like, oh, well, he made all that money. I mean, they really believe it's his money. He made all that money. He's going to show us how to make money. It's been a big economic thing for guys who came up in lower socioeconomic households, and they feel bad about that, and they're looking for something to hook onto.
Well, and a lot of people are always like, well, he's not taking a salary. That's great. Isn't that? And the irony is that literally just already... Where he already in half a year, he spent more in going golfing than his salary.
And don't forget the Bitcoin
or going to
and the perfume.
Well, that's a whole other.
Who needs a salary?
The Bitcoin is a whole other corruption story, which is insane, and it's crazy to me that people aren't.
Do you want to talk about it? You know a lot about it, so why don't you start at the beginning? How does this whole Bitcoin? How did it start? His Bitcoin, and then what happened?
He started his own Trump coin.
Yeah,
and what's happening is that anyone, and what's usually happening is can buy and trade using his Bitcoin, which he makes a percentage off every single time they use it.
Right.
And what's happening is that we're seeing people that are, want maybe some favor with Donald Trump. They are buying things, trading with it. It's free money. It's literally money laundering.
Right.
And he's using it with, foreign nations, people.
Oh, it was
doing
pressuring.
Business. Yes.
What was it? The African country he pressured so hard, and the guy kept holding his ground, saying, no, we're not going to go with that as our standard.
When he was in the Arab Emirates or United Arab Emirates and Qatar, and there's.
I'm mixing it up. You know what? He was trying to get one of the nations in Africa to go with Starlink. Back when he still was in love with Elon.
Well, that's the thing. They're all kind of in it.
And now breaking up was hard to do, but now I don't know.
I don't know if that's real or not either.
I don't know if it is either.
I always feel like I'm like,
let's pretend we broke up. Like in Hollywood. Let's pretend and we'll get a lot of press.
Theater knows theater, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes I'll look at this, I'm like, this shit is political. I'm sorry. This is political theater. Like, are we doing this as a distraction here? Or is this real? I mean, listen, either way, I don't trust Elon Musk or Donald Trump as far as I can throw them. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, you girls fight with each other. I'm going to sit back and watch
Well,
and make fun of it.
I kind of
make fun of it.
I kind of cut you off though about the Bitcoin. I know there's more to tell about that.
Well,
too.
it's just the corruption. And if anyone else was doing this, oh my God.
The Securities and Exchange Commission that barely exists would come over to see what was going on.
Well, and then you've got him. He clearly hasn't divested from any of his assets or holdings in his businesses. And it's like, okay, this is blatant corruption. And anyone can just, have favor with the president. The fact that Donald Trump has made 40% of his wealth now, since he started this presidency and this Bitcoin thing, it's almost doubled his wealth.
Yeah.
Billions and billions of dollars.
This is all part of what bothers, we've talked about before on this podcast too, is the dumbing down of America. The cutting back, I don't want to pay for that school bond. It goes, I don't like taxes. I don't want taxes. I don't want, to pay for a school bond. So our educational system has just deteriorated to the point where we're number 26th in the world or something. Oh, yeah. It's really bad. And
they so just cut more funding from education. Yeah. Most schools have already allocated those funds for this upcoming year.
Yeah.
And
now they don't know what to do.
A bunch of money.
But that's
what they want.
Exactly.
They want people
uneducated.
They want people following, blindly without question.
Yes.
But and with what's in the big, beautiful bill, they have blatantly just said that, you don't need college. You don't need college. Well, our kids, our rich kids, yes, we do need college.
Yeah.
So, they are wanting it to be more of the haves and the have-nots and people
than ever before. And that's the point though, is that's why people can simply say he's not taking a salary because they haven't learned enough. And this isn't to ever disparage somebody who didn't get an education. There's lots of reasons why that didn't happen, but they don't know what Bitcoin even is. Really, they hear about it and they think, oh, well, it's just something the president's interested in or whatever. So, no, this is and that's all part of the plan is to just the bombardment we're talking about to keep us off balance.
Oh yeah,
and the dumbing down so that people are willing.
Listen, I was looking at somebody's post yesterday. They're reminding me of the penguin tariffs. Remember when we were all laughing about that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, that feels like so long ago. And how many things have happened in the process? We've had the Qatar jet. We've had the penguin tariffs, the alligator Alcatraz popping up. It is constant and it seems so surreal.
And that's why you have to work so hard.
Well, and that's why I work my butt off because politics is everywhere and politics is ingrained in everything. Yeah. And for anyone that says that, don't make anything political, everything is political. Yeah. Everything at this point is political, especially how this bill just passed. Everything's political. And if you are hesitant to be political, well, come over to my page. I'll at least enter you into a political way with a little humor.
With some fun. Yeah. Well, I think that's why you're doing so well with it. We should look at one of your videos.
Okay, sure.
Maybe the Carrie Lake one, because she's so funny. Oh, God. The Carrie Lake wigs.
Carrie Lake is one of the most obnoxious characters. One of my things that I used to do with Carrie Lake is literally put her in a straitjacket. She's always in like some kind of padded room because that woman.
Oh, that's right. I saw her in the padded room.
She will never concede that she. So I'm always making it, I'm still the governor of Arizona and I'm this, that, and the other. Like, she's crazy.
I'm back! Hi everyone, Carrie Lake here. And if you didn't know, I am now the senior advisor for the Agency of Global Media in the Trump administration, which means I am in charge of promoting free and unbiased news about democracy all over the world. I know what you're thinking, a perfect job for me, right? So today I testified in front of Congress about what I'm doing to dismantle Voices of America because they have been spreading lies about Donald Trump for far too long. And under my leadership, it's time for a new era in America. And I call it the Trump truth. And the Trump truth only. We need more media outlets like OAN and Newsmax. Now, some are calling what I'm trying to do propaganda, but I call it patriotism. And sure, I've been called a lunatic and a liar, but in Trump's America, those are just resume builders. Governor of Arizona, senator from Arizona, and now the media czar. I wear a lot of hats, and most of them are made of tinfoil. So buckle up, America, because the media is under new management, and freedom of the press now means the freedom to praise Trump. All right, and Carrie Lake broadcasting you lies in 3, 2, 1.
She's nuts. She is nuts.
Oh my God. There was one you did with her in a bar going, "Hi, Donald, it's me, Carrie Lake. Remember me?"
Oh, that used to be my big shtick, is that she would, something bad would happen to her and she'd be at a bar and she'd be like, "Barkeep, pour me another milk." So I always imagine her just, she's not like an actual like alcoholic, but she's like lactose intolerant. And so,
Oh, yeah.
she just goes to the bar and just gets lactose drunk and
so
farts
funny.
and,
No,
tells lies.
The characters. So looking at, she's in the padded cell. So you
Yes.
obviously have a green screen behind
Yes.
you, and you find whatever you think is the perfect thing. And then the wig where you kind of wrap it around her head.
That wig actually doubled as my George Santos wig.
Oh, good.
I used to do parody George Santos as well, but he's gone, soon to be in prison now.
Oh, George, you picked the wrong friends to support.
It's funny. My husband, for our anniversary, this was right when George Santos got taken out of Congress, got kicked out of Congress. My husband got me a Cameo. You've heard of Cameo, right?
No. Okay. You better
Cameo,
define that for me and everybody
Cameo,
else.
no, it's an app where you can go on and you can get shout outs. You pay money.
Okay.
You have to pay people money. But this was when George Santos was like just starting out. He was like $80. I used to do George Santos. Then my husband got me this Cameo. And that was kind of like my swan song of letting him go, because he's,
if he said something so nice to you.
Oh, well, I mean, he was like, bye. He said, "I would really hope it if you would not use the same raggedy wig that you used to do Carrie Lake."
Oh, oh my God.
My husband made him say that. He doesn't know who I am, but maybe he did after that. So
that is really funny. But no, it's so you have the green screen. You write it up. You say it to the camera. So I have a question for you, because you work so hard, because like we're talking about the bombardment. I know you have 2 daughters.
I do.
And how do you manage a life with 2 daughters and a husband and a house? And you told me you have a huge garden.
Yes, and a dog.
And I forgot about the dog.
I've got a 1 and 4-month-old giant 80-pound Labradoodle, Luca. It's, like I said, filling your cup.
Yeah.
And when I do this, it's because I love to make people laugh.
Right.
I love making people think about politics in a different way. Even with that like video you just saw of Carrie Lake, I'm giving you information. I'm giving you the reality of what's happening. This is what she's doing. She is in charge of the media. She is gutting the media. Am I giving it to you in a straightforward way? No, I'm giving it to you as Carrie Lake.
Because they've been so mean to Donald Trump for so long.
Yeah, well, they really want state-run TV like they have in authoritarian countries. They want to be able to control the narrative. And you've seen how dangerous this is already with Donald Trump, even his press secretary and their daily White House briefings. They have managed to X out certain people in that sphere.
Certain people aren't allowed in the press room.
No, they're allowed, I think. But I mean, like they're sitting further back, or they're not asking their questions, or, they're not answering their questions.
Mm-hmm.
But they are bringing in right-wing commentators or social media. Mm-hmm, they are, showcasing people from OAN, from Newsmax, and, places that throw them softball pieces,
Right.
I mean, I've never once seen, there was one woman from like the Lindell network, the My Pillow guy, and he has his own thing. But one of the people was like, "Can you please tell us about Donald Trump's fitness routine? He's looking so much better than normal." And it was like, who is asking this question? Like, in what way
could they possibly see
they're
that?
like, Donald Trump is looking so good. What's his fitness routine like? You're like, is this a joke? These are
Yeah,
softball
yeah.
questions that
Yeah.
they clearly feel pre-planned.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I like to showcase what's going on with the media and the hypocrisy there and
Well, that's
all
part
that
of the
stuff.
solution is, even as social media can disseminate wrong information, it can also be, it's where a lot of people are getting their news from now because
Yeah.
I don't know any young people who ever turn on the news. They look at TikTok videos that are
Mm-hmm.
on the ground or alternative media,
Yeah.
which is pretty much what you're doing. And
Well, I think when people are on both sides disillusioned by the media, when you see people, we're in a time where everything feels surreal,
yeah,
but we're also expected to go through our day-to-day lives like nothing is going on.
right.
And it's so weird. You were just talking to me about being a mom and how do I do that? Well, I live in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that everything is a little crazy and scary. And it's not normal. None of this is normal.
Right.
And when you turn on the media, when you turn on the news, and it's just kind of business as usual, and no one's really like saying the underlying, threat of it that are we in a government coup right now? Is he trying to take over? Like, are we losing our democracy?
Yeah.
The reality of it is that it's like no one in the media is saying that. So when people do go to social media, they get that validation that they're not living in cuckoo land.
That they're not crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure years ago you must have seen the film Cabaret. Do you remember the film Cabaret? You remember the last scene where they're still partying, da 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 da, and the camera pans to the mirror and you start seeing all these swastikas showing up? I still remember. I was really young when I saw it, and I remember this chill went over me like, they had no idea what was going on. So what places us in a position that is fortuitous compared with back then is that we, as people now, saw what happened then. And we have that as a reference.
Yeah.
And people talk about that all the time. They say, this is like the brown shirts, ICE is like the brown shirts. This is like, the fascist. People say fascist all the time. Emma Watson, the actress.
Yeah.
My favorite quote from her was, to the person who told me they like me best when I'm not ranting about politics, I like me best when I'm not ignoring fascism. And
absolutely.
And so it's just like it's weaving its way through popular culture that we are aware of the concept of fascism and what it did in the past. And that because of the kind of communication we have, we're able to, in the moment, I can find out more sometimes about the news by looking at social media, by looking at your posts, like,
absolutely.
Wait, what just happened? And I won't have read the actual news story, but it's like, oh God, Maggie, what was that?
Well, the reality is social media is covering it and the news sources are not.
Right.
And
exactly.
You've got a podcast, you've got a YouTube, you're able to convey the reality of what's going on that, and you're not beholden to anyone here. You get to do as you please.
No, not even my husband who likes all this equipment.
There you go. Well, and that's the thing. It's nice to have, a voice of your own and be able to
know you've got the freedom to say the truth.
Well, so far, so good.
Do you get any, you must get harassment from the MAGAs and any actual threats of people
No,
saying?
not really. Actually, I don't get it as bad as most.
Yes.
To tell you the truth.
It's the humor. I think.
It's the humor.
I think it's hard for people to go, God, I don't know, I can't really hate her. That was kind of cute.
Well, but it's also like, she's not wrong. I've unless it's something that's, utterly offensive to them, which you never know what it is. But, for the most part, I get a lot of people that actually are wanting to have some kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Whether or not we can reach each other. I have been able to reach some people.
Good.
Through my humor. And,
and converse with them as well.
Yeah. And maybe change some people's minds. I've been able to do that before, which is kind of cool. Knowing that
that's
even
that doorway we were talking about. Laughing can loosen people's thinking, and the rigidity or the locked up kind of loosens and they go, Well, that's kind of funny. Maybe I'll ask her about that.
Well, the
you know?
reality is, I don't wish anyone ill will, but what I do want is for them to stop, being in a cult,
Yes.
and blindly following Donald Trump, no matter what he does. Like, he can do no wrong. We, all of us Americans, have more in common with each other than we know,
Yeah.
and we can find common ground. And really, the enemy is not each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not. And, that's why I try to poke fun at mainly the politicians and mainly Donald Trump more than anything, and shine light on those people. I mean, yes, there are definitely digs I'll do at the other side for sure, but my beef isn't really with them,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I would rather them learn, change their mind, stop their blind allegiance to Donald Trump, and,
And really look.
and really look.
If it's possible.
Really look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to really look.
Yeah.
No, it's really interesting that blind allegiance is what led humanity down the wrong path before. And you're talking about how much we have in common. There's something else I think about too about Americans, which is that we're so stubborn and we're so different. I have a friend in Germany who grew up learning he's about my age, and he grew up in school learning about what happened in World War II. And he's so worried about America. And I actually wrote him a very long letter not long ago about the difference about the American psyche versus the German psyche in the 1930s. That Americans are just so stubborn, and we just nobody's going to tell us what to do. We're still going to drive these big trucks. We're going to do, no one tells us what to do. So at some point, I keep watching. At some point, I think that rebelliousness, that inherent rebelliousness and stubbornness comes to the surface too.
Absolutely.
And more people get pissed. You brought
so.
possibly a wig or two with you, or something with you?
I did.
I'd like to see something here.
Okay. Sure. You want me to go get them?
Yes. Caroline Levitt in the press conference. Hi, Miss Levitt. I have a question for you. Does Donald Trump really have a Diet Coke machine in the White House now?
Okay, so first off, Donald Trump is the most fit president that you've ever met. And if he chooses to drink Diet Coke, well, then that means that the FDA is now making Diet Coke the number one thing you should have in your diet. It's going to go to the bottom of the food pyramid. It's going to be Diet Coke everywhere.
Should we all drink Diet Coke?
Absolutely. If Donald Trump is doing it, that means it's amazing. Amazing.
What are the foreign policy decisions he has to make today?
Well, Donald Trump is going to make a lot of phone calls. In fact, he is talking to everyone that you've ever heard of. He talks to so many leaders every day that it's not even fathomable. He's so busy making deals with other nations because the tariffs are doing a great job. Okay? That's it.
I feel good about that. I'll report that.
Thank you. Washington Post.
Oh my gosh, that was really good. I mean, that's how it is too,
Well, she Caroline Levitt, she's one of my characters. I will also use this wig I'll use this as a MAGA person, or sometimes Pam Bondi, depends if she has her hair curly or not that day.
Yeah. How's Pam today? What's she working on?
Oh, well, Pam Bondi just had a Bondi bonfire. I just did a video about that because they came out that there is, her and the DOJ and the FBI said that there is actually no Epstein list. And that's the latest that she came out and said, even though Pam Bondi has said before that the Epstein list was on her desk. So everyone's kind of like, okay. So I did a parody this morning that I posted of Pam Bondi burning the Epstein list in a trash can outside while Kash Patel was making marshmallows for s'mores.
Oh, so they did actually say that. They actually, after all of us knew there was a list, they said there was no list.
Well, again, it feels
because somebody might be on that list.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are, that not just Donald Trump, that don't want their names out there. And if we know anything, the powerful will get away with everything. No accountability. And, it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but that's why poking fun at it.
But Pam Bondi, That's how I do my Pam Bondi voice. Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the most spectacular president ever. Everything they say about him, he is so amazing, and no one's ever seen a leader quite like him. That's Pam Bondi.
I agree with her. No one, maybe since ancient Rome, has ever seen a leader quite like him.
Right? Nobody's ever seen a leader quite like him.
Quite like him.
Yeah.
What's the future looking like for you and for the work that you're doing? And
Well, so I have management now, and I'm working on just continuing to get my work out there, making people laugh. I'm going to start doing some more in-person stuff, maybe going to DC, interviewing some politicians. I've got an interview with Ro Khanna next week, who is
good.
my representative.
Oh, good. He's
I met
great.
him at the DNC. He's very kind.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be doing more in-person stuff, trying to maybe do some fun skits with people in Congress. Get
That's
the
so
word out.
great.
I last week I interviewed Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker. And it was really fun.
And when you interview them and you're traveling like that, do you interview them as you or
As me, yeah.
As you?
Well, and but I mean, jokes, parody's fun, but I can always do just straight jokes for people.
Yeah.
I made Elizabeth Warren laugh. I made a joke about how the big beautiful bill is so bad for the environment because the pollution from the bullshit coming from that bill, and she started laughing. That was good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's so good. When do you leave? When do you go to Washington?
We haven't had anything set yet, but
that's so great.
the newest things. I've got wig hair in my face, but that'll be coming soon enough. But I'm going to start local, and it's nice because I get to. I live in California, and there's so many political things happening here.
Yeah.
So I'll travel around and meet with people I can here, and
it's nice for you
make
to represent California too.
Absolutely, I love California.
Yeah, we're doing.
Are
good
you a
here.
California?
I am
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Me too.
I am.
And when you live in California, you're California proud.
It's kind of hard to ever leave, you know.
I mean, I love California,
and all the trashing and bashing from the people who don't know, and it's like, no, guys, you need to come here. And
we're the Bay Area here.
Yeah,
it is gorgeous. It is so wonderful. It's so accepting. It's such a multicultural place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't for a second. Can I take this off?
Yes, you may. You don't need to keep it.
I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm back to myself
she's
again.
back.
There, back again.
I know I could.
The wig hair is in
I wasn't believing you when you had that wig on. I was like, oh, she's talking again. I don't know what she's saying.
It's harder to go in and out of like a character when I'm not like prepping ahead of time.
Yeah.
To like, it's much easier when I like have my time to focus and work on the voice and do the things.
Yeah.
But when I'm like put on the spot, it's a little harder. But yeah,
you did great though. You did great, and thank you so much for the work you do. All of us appreciate it. And I mean, in Washington, they're going to appreciate you even more. And that's really, actually, I think, very exciting. That's going to expand your reach. And that's what we need. This is, you're going to be one of the life rafts that we have to get us through this.
Well, there's always a way to convey politics in a way that isn't going to just make people want to stick a fork in their eye. Because right now, if you can reach somebody by making them laugh or making them think about it, because one of the things I love to do is inform people while I'm making them laugh.
Right.
Make smart jokes that also let you know what's going on in the world or what we can do to stop it, or just to even find some hope in this silly mess.
I think that's the thing. I think that word hope is the one that we really need to hold on to. Mm-hmm. And laughing together gives us hope. Yeah. There's a humanness to that. You look all over the world, everybody smiles and laughs the same way.
I always tell people, drink your water and laugh daily.
Yeah.
Because, you got to take care of yourself. And, we've got this one life here. And if you're spending every single day just stressing out, which you could, and
it's not very fun.
Well, there's enough to be worried about. There's enough horror out there to be scared of. But it's so nice to be able to just take a moment to,
thank you.
Take a breather.
Thank you for giving us this moment too.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate having you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Anita Casalina, host of the podcast Navigating, where I talk with people about how they are finding their way through these challenging times. Navigating couldn't happen without you, so please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which you can find by searching Navigating Podcast or with the links we provide in every episode description and social media bio. And if you're subscribed now, you may want to turn on the bell for notifications of the latest episodes and clips. If you like Navigating, let us know. Tell us in the comments and share with your friends. All of this helps Navigating continue to grow so we can bring you more valuable conversations. And as always, thanks so much for watching.